I'm recording. Notice I'm not changing anything.
I don't care.
Okay. What's a percent? Well, let's talk about first percent. When you change percent to a fraction, changing percent to a decimal, which we talked about that before, but we'll do it again. Changing fraction to percent, fraction. So when you go out to eat and if you decide to leave 20% tip, you like the service, the young man, the young lady who served you did a great job, and you say, you know what, I'm going to give you 20% tip. What does that mean? That means $20 for every what? $100. So that's the first topic. How do you go from percent to a fraction? You divide by 100 and you simplify. So from percent to fraction, we are going to divide, here we go, divide by 100 and simplify. Simplify. So we said 20%, here we go, again, it's 20 over 100, that's good. That's how you convert it to a fraction. But did we simplify it yet? Let's simplify. The 0 cancels the 0, now it's 2 over 10. Are we done simplifying? No. Nope. That's what? 1 over 5. So for every $5, leave a buck. So for 20% tip, if you're going out and the bill comes out, let's say $35. Just say, how many $5 bills I have to leave on the table to pay $35? 5. How about 7? 7 $5 bills. So how much tip you gotta leave? $7. If it comes out $40, how many $5 bills you have to put on the table? 8. $8 tip. Now, if you're not happy with the surface, for example, let's say you got 15%. So, you know, she was okay or he was okay, but I'm not really, they didn't come back to ask me if I want more coffee or if everything is okay.
And you're still going to leave 15.
15% tip. Yeah, because they don't make any money. That's 15 over 100. And if you simplify that by 5, that'll be what? 3, what's 100 by 5? 20. So that's going to be 3 over 20. For every $20, leave $3. The 1 over 5, that means for every $20, leave how much? The 20% here. It says 1 for every $5. So if it's $20 bills, what do you leave?
4.
4. So this is $4 for every 20. This is what? $3 for every 20. That's what the 15 is.
Where'd you get the $4 over?
Try to make so you understand which one is bigger, which one's smaller.
Oh, okay.
You know, 1 over 5 the same as 4 over 20. You know, if you have a car loan, you probably have a 6.9% interest. Maybe higher. Who knows? Used car versus new car, depending on your credit report. What is 6.9? That's 6.9 divided by 100. Now let's simplify that. We don't like to see decimals there. Now the 100 doesn't have a decimal. That means where's my decimal point? At the end. So to make the 6.9 a whole number, I will need to move the decimal point how many places? How about 1? The other 2, 1. If you move this 1 place to the right, you got to move the bottom what? 1 place to the right. And that will be what? 69 over 1,000. That means if you bought a car, for every $1,000, the interest is 69 per year, because that's 6.9% per year. They're going to charge you $69 a year for every $1,000 for car loan. If you go to the bank and say, you know what, I got some extra bucks, I want to deposit them. I just got something in the mail. They're going to give me, if I deposit, high yield, 0.9%. What does that mean? 0.9%. That means 0.9 over 100. Again, my decimal point is right here. Move this to the right to make it a whole number. Move this to the right. So what is that? $9 for every 1,000. So the bank's saying, if you give us $1,000 for a year, by the end of the year, we'll give you that $1,000 back plus $9 of interest. Can't even buy a pizza with $9. Maybe if I go Pizzeria Uno during the game, it's half price. That's it. Oh yeah, it's true. I like the pizzas too. So $9 for every $1,000. So you're not getting rich off that money, 0.9%. So that's how we go from percent to a fraction. We divide by 100. While we add it, how do we go from fraction to percent? Notice we divide by 100. I forgot to say the other part. And what do we do after that? We drop the percent sign. So notice none of these have a percent sign. Now, to go from fraction to percent is going to be the opposite. Fraction to percent. What are we going to do? Multiply by 100. And add the percent sign, right? Because the other one we drop the percent sign. So let's see. If I have 1/8, that's a fraction, I need to change that to a percent. We go 1/8. You got to multiply it by what? 100. The 100 over 1, right? And how do you multiply a fraction? The top times the top. 1 times 100, which is what? 100. The bottom, 8 times 1, 8. And let's simplify that. Usually they want it as a percent. They don't want it as a fraction. So 100 divided by 8. Remember, I got a decimal point here if I need it, and I got lots of zeros, stack of them. As many as I need.
So I have a question. Is it bad to try to simplify before you multiply?
You can. You can simplify, which will be 25 divided by 2, right?
Yeah.
And if I did that in my head, what's 25 divided by 2? Isn't that 12.5%?
Yeah.
But if I didn't see that, because I figured I'm going to divide them anyway, let's see if it gives me the same thing. What is 10 divided by 8? 1. 1 times 8? 8. The remainder is what? 2. Bring that 0 down. 20 divided by 8? 2. 2 times 8? The remainder is what? 4. Now bring that 0 after the decimal point. What's 40 divided by 8? 5 times 8? Is that the same answer? So it's 12.5%. 1/8 is 12.5%. What about 3/5? To change that to a percent. It's going to be 3 over 5. You're going to multiply it by what? 100 over 1. You want to simplify first? Go ahead. By 5, this is 1. 100 by 5 is what? 20. 3 times 20. 60 over 1, which is what? 60%. The key to remember, which one do you multiply, which one do you divide? Percent to a fraction, we divide. Fraction to percent, we multiply. I don't have a way for you to remind you to multiply or divide. I don't have a saying. I don't have a trick in my mind that I can think of it that will help you multiply, or divide. I don't have that. So the key is to remember one of them, because once you know what one of them is, if you say, I'm going to memorize this one, percent to a fraction, divide. Keep saying percent to a fraction, divide. When you can do the reverse, what's the opposite to divide? Multiply. So you'll just have to know one. Once you know one, you can figure the other one. Maybe you can think of some family member names, and I like to divide them, or a couple, you want to separate them. One Frank and Penelope. I don't know. We're going to divide them. Frank to Penelope. Oh, that's multiply. Maybe they get married and they're having kids, they multiply. Frank and Penelope. Here we go. Any way you can memorize it, any method, it's fine. The next one, how do we go from percent to decimal? That's an easy one. And the other side of it, how do we go from decimal to percent? For example, again, going back to the numbers we used early for percent, what was it? We said tip is 20%. What else? I use 15%. I use 6.9%. I use the 0.9%. Maybe 1.5%. How can I convert these percent to a decimal? There's no division here, I can tell you that. Moving the decimal point. How many places? Two. Which direction? To the left. Very good. Move decimal point two places to left. And for the other one, when we get to it, move decimal point two places to which direction? To right. This one I have a way to help you memorize which way to move it. And that is, if you write your alphabet, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q. I don't care about the rest. D for decimal. P for percent. If you're going to go from decimal to percent, which way you have to go? To the right. It's always two places. And if you want to go from percent to a decimal, which way you have to move? To the left. So that's an easy way to remember. If you forget, which way do I go, left or right? Just think of the alphabet. This is, D comes in before P. If I'm at this decimal, I want to go to percent, I got to go that way. If I'm a percent, I want to go to decimal, I go this way. So here we have percent. We want to change them to a decimal. We have to move which way? Two places to the left. Where's my decimal point right now? The 20. The 20 at the end here, right? Let's move it two places. 1, 2. So what's that number? 0.20. Do I need the 0 at the end? That's a 0.2. You want to put the 0, fine. You want to leave the 0 out, fine. The 15%, there's my decimal point. Move it two places to the left. 1, 2. That number becomes what? 0.15. the 6.9. There is my decimal. Move it how many places? 2 to the left. So what are you going to have? 0.69. .9%. 2 places to the left. 1, 2. 0.009. 1.5%. 2 places to the left. 0.015.
Would they still be, they're not still percents?
No, you drop the percent sign. Yep. Hot?
Oh my gosh, it's not
Ah. Let me know if it gets too much. I'll keep it spinning.
so sweet.
Here it going. I spray some stuff on it. Watch out. Okay, how do we go from decimal to percent? 2 places to the right. So if I have 1.5, that's not percent, that's a decimal number. I need to change it to percent. 0.0043, 0.019, 0.15. These are decimal numbers. I want to change them to percent. So I'm going to move the decimal point how many places? 2 to the right. And add the percent sign. So this becomes what? 150%. Move it 2 places to the right. That becomes what? 0.43%. Move it 2 places to the right. Not 19. 1.9%. 2 places to the right. 15%. That's almost the entire section over the first section of chapter 6, section 6.1. So let me give you a few to try quickly. Then we're going to look at application, where we use them. Change, here we go. 2/3% to a fraction. I decided to hit you with an ugly one to start with. I won't give you tons of time. I'll give you a few minutes to think about it because the camera's running. I don't want to have a dead silent on the camera. What are we going from where to where? Are we going from fraction to percent or percent to fraction? So we're going from percent to fraction. Look at the rule we just gave you. What is it?
Divide by 100.
So divide by 100. Okay. And drop the percent sign. So here we go, 2/3 divided by 100.
No,
Now-
it's not 2/3, like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the same kind.
yep. So I'm taking you back now to chapter 2, fractions. How do you divide a fraction by 100? I heard somebody say, I have good ears. Somebody says 2/3 divided by 100. I go, yeah, that's what it says there. 100 over 1, I like that answer. Any numbers over 1? Yes, we're going to flip that, Robert. Very good. 2/3 times 1 over 100.
Simplify?
Simplify. I'm liking all these answers. By 2, this is 1. By 2, this is what? 50. 1 times 1, which is what? 1. 50 times 3, 150.
I have a question.
Yes.
Could you have just multiplied by 3
The top and the bottom, bless you. Yes, I could.
and then simplified?
Yes. The other question, she's saying, could you just multiply? Because notice there's a big fraction. I can multiply this fraction by 3 and this one by 3. She's talking about the big fraction. Well, the reason she picked a 3 because that will cancel this. That will leave me with what? 2 over what? 300. Can you simplify that? By 2, this is 1, this is what? 150. Absolutely. I also told you before there's a shortcut when you have a fraction divided by a fraction. Make the other one a fraction. That's 100 over 1. Remember what the shortcut was? Outside over the inside. Outside is you multiply this times this. What's 2 times 1? 2. And the inside you multiply these two. What's 3 times 100? Is that the same answer you got? And you simplify it. So there's lots of ways of doing it. 3 different ways we did the problem. The answer for all 3 of them, still 1 over 150. Maybe one more example. Let's see. Convert 4 over 25 to percent. Now notice you have a fraction, you want to go to percent. Fraction, that's what you have. And you want to go to percent. What's the rule? Multiply, right? By 100. So here we go, 4 over 25. Multiply by 100. The 100 over what? 1. By 25, this is 1. By 25, this is what? How about a 4? 4 times 4? 16 over 1, which is what? 16%. No flipping. Only when you divide, you flip them.